Security is a very hot topic in the world of IT, with daily reports of CryptoLocker ransomware attacks and data breaches. No company or individual wants to be tomorrow's headline. Not only can a data breach be damaging to your public image, but it can cost thousands and in some cases millions of dollars to clean up afterwards. I'm Spencer with XBASE Technologies, and in today's video, we'll be covering multi-factor authentication, just one way you can greatly mitigate the risk of a compromise. Multi-factor authentication and two-factor authentication are two terms that you'll hear quite often. Both are protocols that greatly enhance security by requiring two or more factors before granting access to a system. For all intents and purposes, MFA and 2FA are interchangeable. In the world of MFA, a factor can be one of three things: something that you know, something that you have, and something that you are. The knowledge factor is commonly a password, or in some cases, a security verification question like, what's your mother's maiden name, or what street did you grow up on? In theory, you should be the only person that knows the answers to this factor, but in reality, they aren't always that secure. Websites get hacked, passwords get leaked, and the answers to the security verification questions are, well, predictable to say the least. That's where our second factor comes in, something that you have, aka the possession factor. This physical aspect involves something that you carry with you, whether it be your phone, a token, or a fob. You're probably familiar with this factor already. Websites like Google, Facebook, and many others sometimes send a one-time code to your phone via text message, which needs to be entered before you can complete the login. Now you may be wondering, well, what happens if I forget my phone or my token at home? Then what? How would I log in? In that case, you'd have to contact your system administrator, who would first verify who you are, and then put your account in bypass mode for the day. This will allow you to complete the login process. However, we lose the benefits of MFA, as well as the independence to log in by yourself. The third and final factor in the MFA system is inheritance. Inheritance refers to something that you are. This includes your fingerprint, face, voice print, and iris scan. In theory, this should be the most secure factor of verification because no one can be you. Well, except you, of course. Inheritance-based verification is not as common as possession, but as the technology progresses and the processes for inheritance verification become more reliable, we expect to see it become more prevalent in the future. So now that we have a better understanding of the factors involved with MFA, let's take a look at how it operates. In a traditional login experience, the user enters their user ID and password, and it's then verified by the system. If everything checks out, the user is granted access. The risk with this, however, is if a hacker gets the user ID and password, they can use it with ease to access your machine or network. MFA, on the other hand, uses two or more of the factors that we previously discussed to prevent these simple but common password hacks. Now let's take a look at an example of logging in with MFA enabled. In this case, we'll be using the knowledge and possession factors. Though this is not the only combination of factors that can be used with MFA, it is, however, as of recording, the most common method of execution. When logging in with MFA enabled, the user will enter their user ID and password as they did in the first example. It will again be verified by the system, and if the user ID and password are successfully authenticated, it will then confirm the secondary factor. As mentioned before, the secondary possession factor can come in a number of different forms, like a one-time code that's sent to your phone via text or an authenticator app like Duo. Another option is for a push notification to be sent to the phone. This will confirm that you are indeed trying to access a given account at a particular moment. Simply accept it and proceed. So far, we've covered what MFA is and an example of how it's implemented. Now let's take a quick dive into a few reasons on why enabling MFA login should be an absolute no-brainer. Reason number one, MFA protects your data, even if your password's been compromised. Let's say a hacker gets your password. Generally, that would be game over. But with MFA, we can rest easy. Okay, relatively easy. Having a compromised password in any scenario isn't a good thing. But if a hacker has your password and you have MFA enabled, it's of no use to them because they would also need physical access to your phone or an exact copy of your biometric data. Reason number two, no more changing passwords. In the past, we've often been told to change our passwords every few months or as regularly as possible. And while it's still a good practice, now it's not the end-all be-all of security. The theory with changing passwords is that way, if a password is compromised, a hacker wouldn't have up-to-date credentials for a prolonged period of time. But as we're all aware, a breach, no matter how small or how short, can be absolutely catastrophic. However, with MFA, your password is no good on its own. You need the secondary factor as well. So with the introduction of MFA, we can say goodbye to annoying password changes. Reason number 3, added security in a streamlined fashion. As you saw with the demo, MFA is a simple and intuitive way to keep yourself and your data safe from malicious hackers. And yes, while it does take a couple seconds longer to log in, that's a pretty good bargain for an added peace of mind. And while there are plenty more reasons on why you should enable it, that's where we're going to end this video explaining what MFA is and how it can work for you. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something new along the way. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see all of our future content. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.